Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're consuming this podcast from. Today, I am live with Kelly Hanna on Start Confessions with Jesse. So honestly, it's a big privilege to have Kelly on the show today. If you followed us in our previous episode, you know we've had so many amazing guests. And today we have Kelly Hanna in the house. Kelly Hanna is a leader, she's a mentor, she's a speaker, a best-selling author with more than 30 years of experience in PR, advertising, branding. Oh, she also has an Emmy Award video production. That's amazing, honestly. She is a nationally published photographer, internationally published blogger, and the creator of Rise and Thrive. I mean, that's something we're going to talk about today. Kelly has built multiple million-dollar businesses, traveled the globe, and she has interviewed quite a number of leaders and celebrities. Wow. Honestly, it's a privilege to have Kelly Hanna in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, Kelly Hanna.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. And, I always say, at what I've been through in my life and my career. And sometimes when I tell my story, people are like, what? And I'm like,
Yeah.
you don't realize it because you're in the thick of living it, right?
Yeah.
And it's all about the story that you choose to create around what's happening. So, where would you like me to start, Jesse?
Kelly, you have the stage. Give us your background. Tell us how you
Okay.
said
So,
businesses.
how long do we have? I want to honor time because I can talk for days.
Please don't talk for this, please. 30 minutes is fine. We can run this down in 30 minutes. So
Well,
give us a background on how you started.
so basically, I was a barefoot farm girl from Wisconsin. I was raised
Wow.
taking care of animals and a very simple life. My parents were blue collar workers, very simple. And I just always had kind of this wandering spirit. So one day I just got a wild hair and I packed my car up and I drove to Florida. And I didn't even have a place to live. I just figured I'd figure it out along the way. So that's an indication of
Wow.
like, where I take things. I
Mm-hmm.
got a phenomenal job doing PR and marketing.
Wow.
I had a job at an advertising agency back in Milwaukee that really kind of lit the fire in my belly. And I went from a very innocent farm girl to working at a big ad agency that had an office in New York. And I had never traveled, I'd never
Wow.
done anything. So the whole atmosphere was very, very fascinating to me. Although the people were, if you've ever watched the show Mad Men on HBO, it wasn't far from that. So I mainly just kind of hid in the background with my jaw on the ground, watching everything unfold, and was like, this life is still pretty exciting, and there's still a lot of cool things that we get to do, naming products and all the creative writing and filming commercials, and it was so much fun, right? So I just decided one day I was going to move to Florida, and I got a job doing PR and marketing for an international health institute. I had never done public speaking. I'd never traveled. And now all of a sudden, I am being mentored by the director of the facility, who is very world renowned. This place is
Wow.
very, very famous. It's been around for many, many years. And I had no idea that I was being mentored by some of the leaders in the entire world in functional and integrative medicine. Had no idea the people that I was studying under. I was just a little sponge soaking it all in. And ended up doing like a lot of PR one day. And then we started traveling all over the world, like all over the country, doing conferences, teaching. And, I was kind of just making everything happen in the background, right? And I was happy to do that. It was fascinating to me. And we were in San Diego, California, and the director missed his flight. And there were 475 people waiting to hear him speak. And I had him on the phone going, what are we going to do? And he's like, you're going to get up there and you're going to talk. And I was like, I was 22 years old.
Wow.
I went
So
up
young.
there, and I think it was because I had heard him speak hundreds of times. I literally went up there, and I think I just regurgitated his speech verbatim because I just knew it. And I couldn't believe it. People flocked to the stage asking questions, and it was like, wow, like I need to rethink my whole life right now, because this was amazing for this shy little farm girl from Wisconsin who always just wanted to hide behind the scenes, right? And now I'm in the
Mhm.
limelight and I'm realizing I do have a talent, right? So fast forward, I do the whole get married thing, have kids. I have two beautiful, beautiful daughters, and
Wow.
his family owns a construction company. So I kind of had to go from that lifestyle to the corporate world. So that was a big pivot for me, and I've had many since then. That's why I can talk and unfold this. I teach this all the time. Is life is full of pivots. So construction, I
Mhm.
didn't know anything about construction. I was this little holistic vegan, like definitely not built for construction. However, like a whole different version of me came out in that. Sadly, I learned a little bit too late that my husband had a really bad drug and gambling problem. I had no idea what I was getting into. And I ended up having to run the construction company just to survive, because he wasn't functional after about noon.
Oh
And
man, that's so
so
bad.
it was baptism by fire. I learned construction, and being a woman in construction, especially tiny, I'm little, I'm barely over 5 foot tall. Um, I learned, and I just, it was fake it till you make it. I just went into meetings and
Mhm.
nodded and kept quiet and let everybody else kind of talk. And I just soaked it all in. And that benefited me, because sadly, he passed away from a drug overdose in 2005. I was 38 years old with two little girls. And if it weren't for that baptism by fire, I would have never made it through that time. So I only
Mhm.
say, like, you're going to see a consistent pattern of what people would
Yeah.
consider devastating circumstances, but I chose to tell myself a different story. Now, did I
Yeah.
have bad days? Oh, yeah. I had days, I couldn't tell you how many times I cried myself to sleep, but at the end of it, you wake up and what you have a choice in front of you. Now, could I throw the covers over my head and hide from the world? Sure. Is that going to help me feed my children? No. So I built that company to um, several $1 million in revenue. And then in '08 and '09, the economy went really south. And here I am again. I had
Mhm.
to pivot. I had horses. My children were in private school. My children were in tennis lessons. My children were like expensive. And I had a home and a mortgage and all of the things, right? And somehow or another, I figured it out. And that is when I really sat and went, okay, construction for me is exhausting. Even though I won awards and I did great things and I made a lot of money, but when the economy crashed, the money didn't equal the stress. So
Yeah.
I really had to dive in and pivot. So I went back to my
Mhm.
advertising roots and I started a media company, which
Okay.
I still have today. Um, and
Wow.
then, there were definitely more bumps in the road, but I think it's
Mhm.
the mindset. And now, thank goodness, by the grace of God, a whole cool story about that. I ended up getting a ticket to a Tony Robbins event back in 2011. And
Okay.
like, wow, I have now been immersed in that world, in that ecosystem for 15 years. And it's not what Tony teaches so much, because I've studied with many, many people, not just Tony, but
Yeah.
that world introduced me to people like Les Brown and Alison Armstrong and Mel Robbins and like some really incredible people. And I just soaked it all
Yeah.
in. I took it, I digested it, I marinated, and I spun out my version of what I learned.
Yeah.
And that has served me well, because fast forward, now I own 5 companies. I'm very much an entrepreneur.
Ooh.
My children are grown. I'm a grandmother. And the gift that I have,
Ooh.
as much as I've traveled all over the world, I came home when she was born so that I could be her caretaker when my daughter works as
Oh.
a nurse. So
Oh, that's nice.
everything I teach is intentionally designing. Now, you're going to bump your head, right? You're always going to bump your
Mhm.
head, but you get your butt back up and you go, okay, that bump in the head was the universe telling me maybe there's a 2 millimeter shift I need to make, right?
Yeah, that's
There's
right.
2 millimeter shifts. How how does 2 millimeter shifts change your life? 2 millimeters, 2 millimeters, 2 millimeters, 2 millimeters, two
Mm-hmm.
millimeters, 2 millimeters,
Mm-hmm.
2 millimeters, right? Your whole
Mm-hmm.
trajectory can change by little baby steps every single day. Daily habits and rituals. I could keep talking. You just, if there's questions you want me to, I
No,
teach
honestly,
all the time.
honestly, honestly, you have almost swept me away because your experiences are the kind of experiences we need on this podcast. A lot of people have gone through all these kind of experiences, but it has actually drawn them backwards instead of motivating them to the
Right.
next level, right?
So find your
So that's why
people.
we're having this kind of podcast. We're trying
Mhm.
to help entrepreneurs grow from that point to this point, right?
Right.
So that's why I asked you that question initially. Now I want to find out something. What's that mindset? I've listened to you for about a few minutes, and I noticed a particular kind of mindset, that takes you from here to here. Give us a bit about that mindset.
What I learned is the very first event that I did with Tony Robbins, he said something that changed my life. I mean, you know, I was taking notes, and Tony talks like 250 words a minute. If you've ever he's boom, 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 boom. Like after I think 4 days with him, I couldn't feel my arm anymore. My hand was cramped from writing notes. And he fires off one line quotes so often. So does Les Brown. Les Brown is fascinating. But one thing that Tony said is get it in your head that life is happening
Mm-hmm.
for you, not to
Okay.
you.
Good.
And that's really where my mindset was
For
when
you.
my first husband passed away, is like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a good person. Why would this happen to me? I don't understand. And, I felt myself shrinking into a victim mindset. And all it did was stress me out. It made me physically sick. And I'm like, okay, this has to change. I need to write a different story. And that is something that you learn in that ecosystem. The
Yeah.
first event is Unleash the Power Within, and you learn a lot of strategies. And then
Yeah.
there are some bigger and deeper, more immersive. He has an event
Mm-hmm.
called Date with Destiny that is 6 days. He has a business mastery event. I've done over 40 events now. And so once you do that, and what you have to do is you have to find an ecosystem of people in that mindset, or of a mindset
Mm-hmm.
that you admire and respect, and pay close attention to how they do things. Follow them. Surround yourself with people like that. So we have a group called the Platinum Partners, and we are the Platinum Partners are a group of high impact entrepreneurs. So people that
Okay.
really want to thrive financially, but they also want
Mm-hmm.
to do good things in the world. So we
Yeah.
get together, especially in the business mastery events, and I've done 14 business mastery. There's a contest inside that where Tony gives 3 rules, and everybody focuses on the 3 rules, but they don't focus on all the things that he didn't say, right? And so I've
Okay.
been on the winning team twice, and we've broken records twice, to where we raised, over $600,000 in 72 hours for a charity to
Wow.
help veterans and horses and equine therapy and canine therapy. And when we did that, it's just like when you learn, there are so many layers of you that you have yet to tap into. And
Yeah.
sometimes it takes really difficult things to happen to really help you understand what you're made of.
Okay.
And our problems can turn into our biggest opportunities. They're just a bump in the road. They don't last forever. And your survival rate for bad days is still 100%, right? So the
That's
biggest
right.
thing, surround yourself with people that have a healthy mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You're always going to have those people that are just energy vampires that pull you down, pull you back, that don't get
Mm-hmm.
it. And you just learn where to keep them. They stay over here because they're not going to come into my energy, right? That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Protect your energy. Your energy is a valuable commodity. Don't give it out lightly.
Yeah.
And that's where my coaching comes in, because a lot of people have a lot of damage that they've gone through in lives. And so they've got belief
A
systems
lot.
built out of survival, right? They had
Yeah.
to survive. They just figured out what to do with where they were at. And that's okay. That's a start. But it's the story that you continually tell yourself. So I will tell a really quick story about 2 women that I met that Tony did interventions with. And one woman had a date night that kind of went a little south. And she used that to project, like, I was raped in college and I was this, that, and the other thing. And my life sucks and I'm going to punish my husband. And she had a very unhealthy story around that. And, you know, I don't mean to sound, I will not disrespect anybody that has been through that kind of trauma, but the story she built around it was anger and bitterness and pain. And she lived there 24 hours a day. And every time she went out with people, she trauma bonded on that. And then I met this woman from Colombia who was trafficked by her own parents starting at 5 years old, right? Now, what story did she build? She built a story where, like, she had been through that. She escaped her traffickers. And she went on to build a nonprofit to help survivors that have been rescued out or got out. So 2 different stories. Or I mean, 2 very similar stories, 2 completely different outcomes, 2 completely different mindsets. This woman used her pain to go help people, whereas the other one, you know, tucked in and used her pain to just
sunk in,
live a miserable life. And you know, there's a million stories like that. So it's like, what's the story that you're writing? Because, you know, my story, even though what I went through, and, you know, after my husband died, I built the construction company. The construction company struggled financially. After I made a lot of money, but then it went bam. So starting my media company, that grew, and I took on a business partner that ended up not being very healthy for the company. I had to part ways and kind of start over from that again. And then in 2016, I finally found a healthy, good relationship, right? We had a beautiful 8 years together and were 12 days away from getting married, and he passed away from a heart attack. So me thinking my life is going in one direction, and then bam, right? And so had I not already been through a lot already, I don't know that I would have navigated being widowed again at 55 years old, right? And I have so many people like, Kelly, how do you stay resilient? How do you get up every day and just keep going? Well, the other choices aren't going to do me any favors, right? We have one life. And if we don't get back up and create the life that we want, design the life that we want, have intentional energy every day. One of the things that I heard a speaker once talk about, like, one of my programs is Magnetic AF, right? Getting to the true meat of the law of attraction and manifestation. And one of the things is, like, how do you start your day, or how do you go to sleep? Do you go to sleep with all the weight of the world on your shoulders? Because that's how you're going to wake up, feeling heavy, and you probably won't sleep well. Wake up or go to sleep with rapturous anticipation. When I heard that phrase, it was like, ooh, rapturous anticipation.
I'm just hearing that for the first time.
Right? But, you know, play it like when you go through your day, or maybe the line for your coffee is out the door and you're in a hurry, and you're like, rapturous anticipation. Who might I meet in line while waiting for my coffee? It could be something magical, right?
Exactly.
And what's the other one that we use? Rapturous anticipation. But we also do just ask the universe, just show me how good it can get. Show me how good it can get, right? Instead of, oh God, you know, I got my list. Oh my God, I've got this notebook. I have all these things I got to do. And
so it's just more about positivity,
right,
being
or
positive about yourself,
choosing your story is okay. So you have a car, and maybe you're having car problems. You've got a car.
Exactly.
Celebrate that.
At least you have a car.
Celebrate the fact that you opened your eyes and put 2 feet on the ground. That's where you start. Gratitude and authenticity are the 2 biggest magnetic forces you can, choose. I say choose because
Yes.
you do choose it.
Honestly, I can't agree more because a lot of people sink into their problems like there's no way out, right? They sink
Right.
into their problems, they get so depressed, they get so overwhelmed with their problems that they don't make any
Overwhelmed,
headway
defeated.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, defeated. And it's just crazy. Now, I just want you to talk to that person right now, that person who is at this kind of point, you know, depressed. Maybe he or she has lost something very, very serious. Like you've been widowed twice. I mean, that's something that is very difficult to go through. So talk to someone who has gone through something similar. Is at this point where he or she wants to just give up on life. Talk to that
Right.
person right now.
So the way I would frame it, and I like to tell stories because I like images. When you get images, it helps you kind of process the information. So you wake up, you open your eyes, and I say, look at your day and your world
Hmm.
as a giant mansion, and it's your mansion. It has your
Yeah.
name on the front door, it is your address, and it is endless. There's rooms everywhere, and every door, when you open it, has gifts from the floor to the ceiling that you can't even walk through. There's so many presents and
Yeah.
there's so many every single room, and it's endless, and the hallways are decorated and they're beautiful, and it smells good. It feels good. There's good energy. The sun is shining in all the windows, right? And you're just opening up door after door and there's all these gifts. But then what about walking through the hallway and you don't open the door? How are you ever going to get to those gifts? So if you don't get
There's no
up,
way.
choose to say, tell me, God, or tell me, universe, just how good can it get? And start opening those doors and going through those presents.
Yeah.
And some of them might be learning experiences that
Yeah,
maybe aren't
exactly.
so fun, but it's preparing you for something bigger and better. So when something happens, tell yourself that you have survived every bad day. Your survival rate is
Exactly.
100%. For every bad day you've had, you've made it through, right? It isn't the end of the world.
Exactly.
And once you do that and you ask the universe different questions, or God, if you want to do God, it's great. um to me, kind of, they're both intertwined. So God created the universe, so it's the universe and God. Ask them, or ask just, how show me how good can it get, right? And then you'd be like, oh, it's like a game show, like open door number 1 and see what's behind it. Open door number
Yeah.
6. I want to take the box over there and lift it up and see what's going to be inside, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's people that you meet, um, circumstances, things that you learn along the way that are going to be a door opener for something bigger and better,
Hmm.
whether it's your career
Yeah.
or your family, or an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to travel, but get really clear. So what I like to do, is I like to take a board, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to get up 1 second. I have my boards. I have many of these
Wow.
here. So these are things that I want in my life, right?
Wow. That's
And I stare
amazing.
at it all day. When I get into
Hmm.
my car, there's a sticker on my rear view mirror that says, "Good morning, gorgeous."
Yeah.
Um,
The law of attraction, man,
the,
is the law of attraction. Whatever you
and
want, say it, look at it, and it comes to you.
taste it, smell it, feel it, know it.
Hmm.
And then the other thing that I'll leave you with is, picture yourself as a giant radio tower, right?
Okay.
So let's just say you're going to get in your car, you're going to go on a long drive, and what are you going to turn the radio to? What music makes your heart just, what gets you singing at the top of your lungs in your car, right?
Hmm.
So what do you
Hmm.
have to do to make that happen? You have to turn the dial. You have to choose the station, right? So if you're one big radio tower of energy, what energy are you going to dial into today? Is it going to be depression and overwhelm and sad and victim, or is it going to be, show me just how good it can get? You
Wow.
control the
Wow.
dial to your radio, right? Nobody else
Yeah.
does that. And don't hand over the remote control to it.
Exactly.
So if somebody's coming at you with bad energy, you're like, nope, you don't get the remote control from me. I am not going to let
You
you
should
into
you
my
should be in
energy.
charge. Yeah, you should be in charge. Be in charge of your own remote. So
Right.
honestly, it's this is I've never looked at this from this perspective because personally I keep asking myself, even while you were speaking, I kept asking myself, how were you able to transcend this level of pain into multi-million dollar company?
Mm-hmm.
How are you able to do that?
Because you take that energy into everything that you do. So I do a lot of business coaching, especially what happens is companies will hire me because I do have an advertising agency and a marketing firm. They will hire
Yeah.
me to grow their business, right? And then I start noticing some behavior patterns and some blueprints and some
Hmm.
mindset and some limiting beliefs. And so I
Yeah.
gently open that conversation, and they're like, no, I don't bring my personality or my personal issues into my business. And I'm like, oh hell yeah, you do. Whether you are aware of it or not, you bring everything you do goes into your business, into your leadership skills. Now, is your team failing? You're not
Hmm.
leading. So then I have the conversation is, would you like to take this to a deeper level and really get out of your own way? Because I see that a lot with entrepreneurs, and that's a whole nother conversation I could have 3 hour
Yeah.
talk on, is entrepreneurs. Is most people are not entrepreneurs because they're not willing to risk. They want to control everything. They're trying to wear every hat. They're trying to do it all,
Yeah.
be it all, and they burn themselves to the ground.
Exactly.
They need to find out where their magic is and then delegate the rest so that their magic can expand and grow. If you're doing things that make you feel heavy, that frustrate you, that give you like this trudgery, give that to somebody else. Let somebody else do it, and you do what your magic is. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Um, and so it really is beliefs and mindset. And now I teach remember, 14 business masteries with Tony Robbins. That is a $10,000 ticket event that will change your life. And I've done 14 of them. So
Wow.
I've learned a few things. I've applied them. And here's another caveat. Knowledge and applied knowledge are very different.
Very
You
different.
may
I
be
agree
very,
with you.
very smart, but if you're not using it, what are you
It's not
doing?
gonna work for you.
No. You can talk about it all day long, but if you're not pulling the trigger and taking action, and I'm
Hmm.
a massive action person, so a lot of people joke around like, be careful what you tell Kelly, because she'll have a nonprofit or an LLC set up within an hour, and she'll have the website and the whole business set up within 24 hours, and she's gonna stick your butt in there to go. And I've done that, and people my nickname, of course, I live in Florida, so we have hurricanes, so they call me Cat 5 Kelly, because a Category 5 hurricane is one of the strongest there is.
Yeah.
And that, obviously, you've gotten a big dose of my energy, and this is non-caffeinated. I'm actually on a water fast right now.
Wow. You
So
still have so much energy.
I'm on day 3 of nothing but water. So,
Wow.
again, what you focus on, what you give your energy to
Hmm.
will grow. So
Yeah.
what are you going to focus your energy on? Are you
Yeah.
focusing your energy on your problems, your obstacles? Because
Hmm.
that's what's going to happen. They're going to grow. If you focus
Yeah,
on
they'll start growing.
solutions,
Yeah.
optimism, what if? Like, not, oh
Hmm.
God, what if, right? No, what if,
Yeah.
right? And look at, it's a physiology change, right? You see my whole body
Hmm.
change. And when I talk, I'm very animated. Um, So you could be like, oh God, what if? What if this doesn't happen? Oh. And you'd be like, like rapturous anticipation. What if? It's all about the story you
Hmm.
create.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Kelly, this is amazing. But before I get confused about something, tell me a bit about travel, because you mentioned that you've traveled a lot.
I have. And part of that is how I won my Emmy, but part of my
Ooh.
media
Okay.
company, we have a production company, we do television. And I
Okay.
sat down and, I remember where I was going to write a list of what you want to move towards and write a list of what you want to move away from,
Okay.
right? and focus on that. Make sure you're very intentional. Like, I want to move away from, thinking that I can't afford things, right? I don't want
Yeah.
to have that mindset. And I want to move towards abundance and all the things.
Yeah.
Like, I'm giving you the fast track, but there really is some magic into getting clear about what you want, getting clear about what you
Mhm.
don't want, right? And
Yeah.
so redirecting that. Now, I've got to reframe my thoughts here. Redirecting that into building businesses, redirecting that into how you look at life, redirecting that into all the things that you want, right? So part of the things that I wanted to move towards was I wanted to travel. I wanted to see the world. And so
Okay.
I started looking for resorts. My dad lived in the Bahamas, and I met and made a
Wow.
lot of, we're very close. Like, we're, it's a 20-minute plane ride to get to the Bahamas from where I live. So it's not like a
Wow.
giant destination. If you're on a good boat, 2 hours. So the Caribbean is very close. So my dad lived in the Bahamas, and we used to visit all the time. I made relationships, and I'm like, I love the islands. I love the Caribbean. How can I see more of it? And so I thought, okay, well, I can do travel documentaries. I can do
Wow.
find small boutique resorts that need help marketing. So when I
Mm-hmm.
go there, they fly me out. My stay is comped, and I do blogs, writing, reviews. I do photography. I have a film crew. I have many clients in the Bahamas and many clients in the Turks and Caicos, and I'm trying to expand that right now. So I've
Yeah.
also gone to Central and South America. So I've gone to Ecuador, to Peru. I've gone to Nicaragua. I've gone to Honduras. I've gone to Costa Rica. I've gone to Belize, all because I was hungry for understanding culture, because I don't want to travel like a tourist. I want to truly see the essence of the
Yeah.
people. I want the dirt shack in Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm going to tell you that's
Mm-hmm.
going to have way better food than the five-star restaurant, because I'm going to eat,
Exactly.
again, I spent, gosh, 15 years of my life going to the Bahamas with my dad, where we caught our own food and cracked conch on the dock, and we cooked. And for me, that was a sense of community, because you have all of these travelers, right? All of these travelers
Mm-hmm.
from all over the world coming to one place. And I would just start feeding people. Hey, we have a bunch of lobsters. We have a bunch of fish. Come and share a meal with us, and let's share stories. For me, that's beautiful, right? I don't need big,
Yeah.
expensive five-star hotels. Those are nice, by the way, because I do have some of those for clients. I do have the number one luxury resort in the Caribbean, and they
But
have
not, but not
villas.
for you. But
They
not
have
for you.
villas for that go for like $60,000 a week. But is that great? Yeah, that's great. But I still want the people. I will still
Yeah.
have a 45-minute conversation with the concierge or the housekeeper, because I love
Mm-hmm.
people, and I love the journey of people. I want to know your
Yeah.
story. And one of the things that I've learned is that if you help one person feel seen, heard, and valued,
Yeah.
you have created magic for that person. That is the best gift you can
That's
give
true.
anyone. Anyone,
That's
take a
true.
moment and let them be seen, heard, and valued, because so many people don't feel that in life.
Yeah. That's true. To be honest, Kelly, I can't agree more, because going through your story, going through everything you've been through in life, kind of reminds me of something that happened a few years ago. I have a background in copywriting, also have a background, in digital marketing. I had some issues along the way. I would have actually given up, right? But at that point, I had that, that push within my spirit that this could actually be an opportunity in another form. Then I
Mm-hmm.
began to delve into CRMs, began to enter into Go High Level. Now I'm a master of Go High Level. I set up CRMs for people, and all
Design
manner
your
of
own
email marketing
CRM.
within. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to doing that very soon.
Find out what's
So I
lacking in
also
all the
do
CRM systems,
landing
and trump
landing
it.
pages, and so I really understand where you're coming from in terms of building based on your experiences, you know. making your future better based on the experiences you've actually had in the past. And honestly, I want to appreciate you for sharing your story with us. We've actually run out of time, but Kelly, honestly, I think you have to make us some time to come back again because we're going to give you much longer time to talk. And super, super excited having you on the show, Kelly.
Well, I'm
Kelly
happy to break
is
down any of
also
these.
Kelly is has actually shared so much with us, going through the background of being widowed twice. I just can't imagine that. That's so terrible. But that refueling your desire for, for success in life, for entrepreneurship push is something that I really find very exciting. And I'm sure everybody watching the show right now has actually been motivated by your growth and your ability to, push through in the midst of challenges. So Kelly, thank you so much. Kelly, where can we find you? Where can we find
You
you?
can definitely
Uh,
find me on all social media. It's Kelly Hanna Video.
ooh,
And I put
okay,
different content on different, I put a lot of my coaching content on TikTok. I put a lot of more
okay.
fun content on Instagram. I put a lot of my travel stuff on Instagram. And then Facebook is more like open dialogue. So Kelly Hanna Video. Um,
Kelly Hanna video.
yeah.
Okay.
And you can email me at Kelly Renee Hanna at iCloud.com if you want to talk
Wow.
further about the magnetic AF or coaching. And I
Mm-hmm.
take coaching. I've been coaching for over a decade. So like I take you deep. So I need you to be brave when you sign up with me. And I promise it will pay
Kelly.
off.
Kelly is amazing. Honestly, you are one of my hottest guests I've had in the last few months, and honestly, I can't even. I don't want to end this show right now, but I just have to end this show because you have a very attractive energy,
Oh,
and I
thank
really
you.
appreciate you spending your time with us. And I know from here it's going to be better and better, right? It's always going to be better because with an energy this way, I
Hmm.
just love your energy, and I feel that with this kind of energy there's nothing that can hold you back in life, right? And to everyone watching there, this is the kind of energy you need to succeed in life. This is the kind of energy you need to grow that business. This is the kind of energy you need to, to push through in life. Everything doesn't have to be rosy. You can't just wake up and notice that you have a gold spoon in your mouth. Sometimes you might have a wooden spoon in your mouth and you will have to exchange that for a gold spoon. And that's what Kelly has done. Kelly, thank you so much. And I really enjoyed having this conversation with you. Thank you so much. And I feel that one day you're going to come back again, and this time probably will go an hour. I know
Anytime.
we're going to enjoy
Anytime.
it. So until next time, guys, meet up again with us next time on our next episode of Startup Confessions with Jesse. So thank you, guys. See you
Thank you.
next time.